I only have 2 lessons to give them content to then interview them for. And they can't actually talk much during those lessons to practice speaking for an interview test. The second the class is over, they're all like clustered together again. I'm just like, give me my group work back, please. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about Japan, the JET program, share my experiences and opinions. So if any of that interests you, then please do subscribe. So this week I have finally gone back to school and gone back to teaching. The last class I taught was literally near the start of February, so it's been a hot minute, and now the state of emergency in Japan has been recalled, so there's no longer an official state of emergency, so the schools are reopening. Personally, I think that it's too soon. I'm not going to rant about that today. I've made a video ranting about Japan's response to the coronavirus, and you can check that out here if that's something you're interested in. But that aside, because I've accepted that that's just what's happening, I am actually excited to be back at school because I do enjoy teaching, and it's been a fun week, to be honest. And today I'm going to talk about preventative measures which are in place at my school for preventing more spreading of the coronavirus, how it's affecting my teaching, my kind of general teaching plan for the semester, as well as my opinion on these measures. The main difference I've noticed is that all classes have been halved. Homeroom classes are classes of 40. I usually teach half a homeroom class at a time, so 20. So now I'm teaching 10 at a time. For these 2 weeks, this is a temporary 2-week measure. All the students have a number between 1 and 40 in their homeroom class. So in the mornings, odd number students come in, and in the afternoon, even numbered students come in. And for the first week, that'll be the case, and then the second week, they're gonna switch around who comes morning and evening. Also, it means that they eliminate the actual lunch break because they're coming after they've eaten lunch or just before they're gonna go away for lunch, so there's no like hanging around in groups and stuff during lunchtime. And it also means with fewer kids in the building that they can spread out the desks. They used to sit 2 desks next to each other at a time, but now they're all individual desks. Even my 3rd year class, which is optional, was not exempt, so like I have 8 kids that chose that class this year, and this week I taught 5 kids. Next week I'm going to teach 3 kids from that class. A few other things I've noticed is like as the kids are coming in, students are getting temperature checks, there's hand sanitizer outside all of their homeroom classrooms, they all have to wear face masks, and in class how it's affecting me the most is that they're not allowed to do group work, they're not allowed to like move around the classroom, they really have to be sat in place, and because of individual desks that means the pairs can't even work on the same worksheet or anything, and it's difficult because I teach conversation, and it's difficult when they can't really converse to then teach conversation, you know? I don't just want to lecture them for 45 minutes. Over the last year and a half, I've been building up all these lesson plans, and I was like, okay, this is my year. Finally, I can just reuse all my old lesson plans. I don't have to like work too much this year. But turns out that's not true because all my old lesson plans are based on fun group activities and games where they're getting up and moving around and interacting, and I can't do that shit anymore, so yeah, back to square one. For these 2 weeks, I'm only teaching my introduction lessons, so that's fine because I've done it so many times and it was easy enough to adapt. I basically just changed a lot of the games to true or false and kept the same information about Scotland and myself. So my plan for the first years is basically they're going to have a minimum of 4 lessons each with me this semester. The first one was introduction lesson, and my JTE wants me to do an interview test at the end, which will be the 4th lesson, which means I only have 2 lessons to give them content to then interview them for, and they can't actually talk much during those lessons to practice speaking for an interview test. So my plan, although I've not decided on any of the specifics yet, my plan is to just keep it as simple as possible. It's going to be super basic English. Even if it's stuff they already know, the goal is going to be to get them comfortable speaking, especially to a foreigner such as myself. And then next semester I'll work on developing their actual English range. As for my 3rd years, my plan is, again, I have to do an interview test test with them, but I have 10 lessons with them because it's twice a week I see them. And my plan is, since there's so few kids, I'm gonna let them choose their own interview topic, and it can be anything at all. And each week I'm gonna give them a subtopic, like a relevant news article or a famous person in the field of that topic or something like that. So by the end of the semester they can talk deeply about it. And even if the individual lessons aren't structured in a super fun way, hopefully the subject matter, which is their own choice, will be interesting enough to keep them motivated. And that is my plan. If you guys have any ideas or suggestions for fun, social distanced school activities, please let me know in the comments below. I am begging you. As for my opinions on these measures, I think it definitely makes sense, regardless of whether the virus is completely gone or not, to show some degree of caution. So having half the students in at a time I think is a good idea for sure. But the little things like no group work and stuff, my overall opinion is that if you don't feel like the school is safe enough to be taught as usual, then don't open it. Is my opinion. But they are opening it, and I just feel like being spread out a bit more in the classroom and stuff, I just don't think that's gonna help anything, because as soon as that bell rings, when it's not my specific 45 minutes with the kids, the second the class is over, they're all like clustered together again, walking down the corridor hand in hand, like jumping on each other, messing around. Just because they're split up for that 45 minutes will not change the fact that if someone has the virus that comes to school, it's gonna get spread around. It is inevitable. So I'm just like, give me my group work back, please. Just feels like, you know, they have to do as many measures as possible to appear that they're making those kinds of measures, and I get that, but there comes a point where it's like, okay, this is just taking away from productivity now. But that's just my personal opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think that that is absolutely should be the case and should be necessary? Please comment below your opinions. Change my mind. Anyway, at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, just because the state of emergency is over does not mean that the virus is gone. So I'm actually isolating myself even more than usual at the moment, but like, I am happy to be back at school, other than the obvious. It's been a fun week. It's been an exhausting week. My body is not used to this anymore. I've literally come home and napped for hours every single day. The only way I've motivated myself to film this video today, it's Friday, is because I've promised myself that I'm gonna order a pizza if I film this video. So like, I'm excited. Anyway guys, that's all I have to say. Give it a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye bye.